On Monday, the Barrie Native Friendship Centre organized a Truth and Reconciliation Day event at the Spirit Catcher. The event began with a sunrise ceremony at 6:30 in the morning, followed by the sacred fire, and concluded with a memorial walk. Troy Monague, who hosted the evening event, shared the story of his grandfather, a residential school survivor. Following is the video from the event.
My name is High Cloud. I'm of the Martin clan. I'm from Chimnishing originally, and I'm Anishinaabe. I'm here representing Monague today and working with all the amazing teams at BNFC and everybody who's supporting the event, whether they're volunteering or just coming out on their time and thinking about this day and the people affected. I wasn't sure I was going to be talking today, but here I am talking. So I'd like to share a little bit how today is affected in my household. I have a grandfather who's passed on, Rodney Monague Sr. And when I used to go over to his house, he used to just tell stories. And that was kind of the coolest part about visiting him, is you didn't have to say anything, right? You just sneak behind his my grandma's back and sneak him some ice cream, and he'd keep talking, right? And he'd tell you all kind of stories, but he'd also tell you stories about when he was in Shingwalk Residential School. He'd tell you about stories when he was in the Mush Hole or the Brantford Institute. And a lot of those stories were really traumatic, but he had this gift of telling it to you and making you laugh still, right? And maybe that was to protect himself and those who were listening. But it's something that really stuck with me in the stories that he shared, because some of them were humorous even though they were quite traumatic. And one of those stories he shared was when he stole some cheese. Him and his dorm mate stole cheese, and it's because a little girl kind of showed a liking to him, and his friends were telling him, and he kind of used that to his advantage because she would help in the kitchen. And so he said, "Would you prop the outside door open just a little bit?" And they lowered him down outside the window. They lowered him down, and he was so nervous to get caught. He went out, he went over the fence, and he went really long. He went back over the fence, and he went, and sure enough, it was open just a little bit. And when he went in, he kind of freaked out because he didn't know he'd get in there, and he didn't know what to grab. Now, the really disturbing and sad thing about why they called it the mush hole is they didn't feed them well. They ate twice a day. They ate a piece of bread and essentially mush. And the teachers and the different people that were there were eating very well, and the kids could see that. And the abuse there was very bad, to the point where my grandfather actually escaped that school and was helped by another friend, right? But that was one of the funny stories he's told, is they took this piece of cheese and he rolled it all the way back to where they could tie it up and bring it back up in the window, and they would eat it over, and it took them a while to eat it, so they kept putting it up in the ceiling and then bringing it down and eating it some more. And the whole school got called down to the office, and they were giving each kid lashings. And when they would come out, they would see if they were crying. That was him being humorous. He's talking, they would watch to see if the kid had cried, right? But that's the only way you could get out of that office. And he went in there and he said, "Don't you ever do that again?" He said, "No, I won't." And then he said, "What did you do?" He said, "I don't know what I did, but I'll never do it again." And all the kids said that, right? So nobody found out who stole the cheese. And they ate all that cheese the whole time. But one day, the kind of last straw to where he wanted to escape was he was abused in the boiler room. And when that happened, he decided he was going to leave. And so that friend that said he would help him escape got him, broke him into the office like a real pro. He X'd out his file, and he left all his clothes, because while he was there, he was number 32. Everything he had number 32 on it, right? And the only thing he kept that had 32 on it was his sweater, because it was cold when he decided to leave. And he managed to follow those train tracks all the way to Hamilton, where he ran into a police officer at a bus station. And he thought for sure they're going to put him in the car, they're going to send him back, because the reason he went alone was because so many kids before him, when they left in 2s and 3s and 4s, they'd come back in 2s and 3s and 4s in the police cars. So he decided he'd go alone, so it'd be harder to catch him. And this police officer surprised him, checked if he had any money, checked where he was going, found out his aunt's name in Toronto, and actually paid for his ticket and told the bus driver to get him there safe. So that's how he got back to Toronto to his aunt. And that's where he stayed, and they did come looking for him, and they found him because there was a little kid, little Marsden, went and pointed him out and said there was Rod in the closet. And so he came out, and then I guess his aunt gave the people who came a good tongue lashing, and they left. Right? I guess that kid was really good at Xing out that file, so they never came back for him. He ended up working illegally, underage in factories, before eventually he went to the military. And he didn't really seek counseling or seek bettering himself until he was in his 60s, almost 70s, right? So he had to live such a long time as kind of a shell of himself, and it was the people around him that helped him see that he needed that extra help, right? Unfortunately, he passed away when he was still going through that process, but he was such an amazing storyteller. He was an amazing leader. He was a chief for a long time. He was the youngest chief in Ontario for a while. So even through all that adversity, he did a lot of beautiful things. But that's a little bit about how it affects my family. But what we're going to be doing today in honor of those children and all of those who came after them, who struggled due to the events of what happened to us over these years, is our wonderful drum group here is gonna sing us out, and we're gonna make our way down to what beach again? Centennial. I don't live in Barrie, so I'm just winging it here. We're gonna make it all the way to Centennial, and so we don't get lost, they're gonna sing us back, so we don't end up in Innisfil, right? And so when we come back, they're gonna be doing that healing music, and that's what we have to remember about the big drum and about the dancers. They all have significance. They all have importance to us, right? That those beats represent heartbeats, different levels of our creation and our creation story. We have Wawashkesh, kindest animal in creation is that hide, right? That deer, and we have Matik, the tree, that represents truth. So as you hear that drum, kindness should become your truth. Right? That's what we want to take that healing from that drum. There's a Anishinaabe story we have of the Dakota Sioux bringing that drum and bringing peace between our people, right? And so there's a lot of things here that's going to help us heal, and that's what we should try to focus on as we move along, right? And so Chimigwech, I'm looking forward to walking with all of you in a good way. We wanted a push-up sign. Hit us with another and we're gone.
He's right there. Okay.
That's okay.
But on the overall scale
We learned about today. I don't know. So I got it. Now you're like, oh, yeah, that's
she wants to be like still
Dropping by radar. And there's been no documentation of that.
my buddy was trying to get some of that.
And we're not going over there. No, you're calling it.
That was the update from the Truth and Reconciliation Day in Barrie. Thank you for watching.